Hi there, welcome back to the Kenny Veach Cave mystery. Today I wanted to share with you a map analysis revealing the location of Kenny Veach's possible campsite, the location of it on Google Earth. I know some people may not be quite familiar with the area and others may have forgotten with time. I just want to focus in on today when reflecting back on the strange finding, which was also creepy as well, by Scott Natal in 2021. As of yesterday, I did a side-by-side comparison, getting that idea across that what Kenny Veach had at the time during one of his previous hikes looked very similar to what was seen in Scott Natal's hike video when searching for the M Cave in the Mojave Desert. When both were side by side, it did look quite interesting and also similar, which could indicate that maybe Kenny Veach, when he went out there on his final hike, when he intended to go for over a 2-day hike, an overnight stay, he'd be camping out there, so he would need the appropriate equipment. As for reports by Sharon Pilgrim and what was taken and what wasn't, supposedly the firearm was taken, the original camera wasn't taken, but she also said that a different one was taken. As for the backpack, unknown of. The tent, unknown of. So we're basing it off interpretation and nowadays reinforcing it with what's been found out there, such as the tent and campsite. So you can tie one thing to another to suggest that possibility, right? I just want to visually describe it to you today as for the location, so you can take in mind and in perspective as to where it's located and how far away is it from the original hike route and the M Cave hotspot and the area where Kenny Veach kind of changed in behaviour. That can also be acknowledged today, okay? So hopefully you can stick around to understand. I am going to provide coordinates, so if you want to check or explore for yourself, whether it be on Google Earth or elsewhere, you can note it down afterwards in this video. It's all there. Welcome to all the people that are currently here though in this live premiere. Be sure to share your thoughts, opinions and reactions in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen. For those that do watch this video later, at a later date, just share your comments down below if you do have any questions. As well, in the pinned comments, there will be some additional links if you wish to check them out. And top right corner of the screen, the I symbol, if you click on that, you'll be able to find the other videos which you may have missed out on. It's best to catch up on everything so you understand this video better. If you are interested in the actual tent and campsite found by Scott Natal, as well as the side-by-side comparison to Kenny Veach's tent from the past, feel free to check out last night's video. As said, link top right corner of the screen, the playlist as well available, the lot, okay? So as for the comment section, well, that can be addressed and acknowledged in a separate video, because earlier today I did a milestone video as well, a channel update. If you're interested in the channel updates and changes to this channel, make sure to catch up on the earlier video. Maybe after watching this, it'll make more sense. But as for comments, they can be done in a separate video. Today, we're just focused in on the current topic and talking point. Campsite found, could be Kenny Veach's. Let's check the location and see where it is to put into perspective. Let's head on over to Google Earth right now. So here we are on the maps. Down here you got Joe May Canyon, obviously the M Cave hike route, as most of you will be familiar with. Joe May Road here, the dirt one, which leads up to Joe May Canyon. Now looking that way is roughly north. It's further north where the tent location was found by Scott Natal. So basically, if you're doing it in terms of the exact hike route Kenny Veach took, as well as other hikers, to get from point A to point B, well, you'd go up Joe May Canyon as usual, right? Follow it up here. Even visiting the mine shaft if you wish to. You got Wild Horse Pass there, of course. You go up and over it, drop down to here. Do you keep going north? No, not quite. I know I did say you go north. It'll make more sense in a second. What you'd have to do is come down this way as if you were going towards Pitcher Canyon. Okay, Pitcher Canyon is further down that way. That's why it winds in and out. But we're not going down there exactly. You're coming down up to this, if you could call it crossroads in a sense, kind of adjacent to this agave pit or sagebrush, whichever one it was Jeff Clark described. There's some people said it looked like the shape of an M, but it's got nothing to do with the M cave, okay? Just take that into consideration. So we just zoom on out. Once you get to here, you turn round, okay, facing north, and it's up this canyon, up that way. Going up that way is where the tent and sword was found, okay? Exactly where? Well, I can point it out to you now. Just zoom in, here. That there. Obviously, it's very blurry and it's hard to see, but it's satellite imagery, what do you expect? We zoom on out, you can see a rock formation, okay? Very tight together, close together. You can even see a gap right in the middle, because that's where the little gully was, as Scott Natal walked into that little enclosed tunnel space, if you want to call it that, where the tent was up against the rocks, kind of hooked onto it, the can was as well, and the bamboo sword underneath some of the rocks under the rock wall. So if you do want the coordinates, because I think a few people were requesting that, I'll just hold it down. Hopefully it will show. 36, 34, 16 north, 115, 18, 07 west. Feel free to pause the video if you wish to, or, you know, copy and paste it, write it down, whatever. Just want to provide these coordinates to you right now of the location of possibly Kenny Veach's campsite out there, okay? Now, some of you might think, how would I know this exact spot, considering it's me and where I'm located at? It's simple. Basically, I watched Scott Natal's hike video at the time, and visually I mapped it out and applied it to Google Earth somehow. And then basically I blindly pointed out and said, that looks like the spot. Scott Natal, the actual hiker that went out there, actually commented on my old video and confirmed that was the spot. So I got confirmation from the person that actually went out there. So I was right, okay? Just a reference there in case you were wondering. You can always look back at my original video and check the comments for yourself. But yeah, it's in this area here, that like rock formation. You know, the more you zoom out, kind of clearer it gets. You can see the rocks placed about. And if we flip the image as well, you can see it's closer to the mountains there on the side. So, and then down here, just thought I'd point it out, if you're going towards Pitcher Canyon, just before you do so, on the right hand side, I think, I'm correct in saying, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff Clark or, you know, SB, up this way, it's kind of hard to flip, but you can kind of see like a narrow canyon, can't you, from the angles. It appears that up that way is Skull Canyon. And it was Kenny Veach that actually highlighted it himself in his M Cave hike video, whereas he was walking past the caves, and I believe the caves are just before that on the side of this rock wall, okay? Once he went past, that's when he pointed out, saying that the canyon up that way was Skull Canyon, in which when he went up there in the past, that's where he collected some of his skulls and bones and stuff to be able to take back to his home for decoration, okay? Just wanted to point that out. As I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but definitely looks like a canyon, and I think that is Skull Canyon, okay? I said it's hard to flip the image because it just won't let me because it's such a narrow area with all the obstructions, okay? Pitcher Canyon down there. Now, the reason why I just wanted to point this area out was because there was a couple of people in my short video most recently. Make sure to check it out if you haven't already. The cave that Kenny Veach appeared afraid of, right? And it's actually before Skull Canyon, if I'm correct in saying, and it's adjacent to this area, what we're looking at on screen. So rotate around, it's somewhere here, okay, on the side of this rock wall. You can make it out that there are black lines within the area, right? And depending how you look at it, if you look really close, that does look kind of like an M, and it's on the side of the mountain, but towards the bottom or so. I just wanted to reveal this location because people were interested to know where it was exactly, right? So to those that are somewhat familiar with the case and the area in general, the cave that Kenny Veach appeared afraid of was adjacent, well, not adjacent, in parallel to the supposed covered up M cave. They're like in line with one another, right? So if you were coming down this way to visit the key hotspot area, northeast, you're looking west, okay? West, going towards Pitcher Canyon. So if west is this way, north is that way. So the covered up cave, give me a second. The covered up cave is somewhere here in this area, as you see. Try and drop the coordinates down if possible. Somewhere around here, lower down to the ground. And then next to it would be the keyhole cave, somewhere like there, or just before it, about there. And then the M-shaped cave, which is just as shallow, is basically next to it on the right, okay? So if you're going west towards Pitcher Canyon, you would rotate around facing north to see the rock wall here and then the caves. As for the cave Kenny Veach was afraid of, just before he walked past the covered one and said, oh, a place like here, and then turned around, he'd be facing east, I think. West, north. Let me just make sure. North, hold on. North, east, south. Oh, south. Yeah, south. So I'll drop the coordinates there. Get off. Hopefully you can see it on screen. You can pause it if you want. Roughly in this area are the coordinates to the cave that Kenny Veach was afraid of. Now, maybe I'll do another video in the future, just pointing it out if need be, okay? So, with that all said and done, we zoom on out. You want the distance, we can do that now if possible. Just got to try and remember how to do it. All I'm doing is kind of like measuring the distance from where Kenny Veach may have parked. Okay. Right, it's in miles, that's good to know. The layout might get in the way on the screen, but there's not much I can do about it because if I turn that off, it just deletes itself, so just be patient. And this is just basing it off Kenny Veach's original M Cave hike route if he was to replicate it again. Wild Horse Pass, then going somewhat west, looks kind of northwest in a way, up to that Agave pit, which is that white little dot there. And then if we carried on, then that would be going down Pitch Canyon and, you know, the M Cave, but it was actually up this way. Will it let me zoom in? It's hard to fit it all on screen. There. I don't know if it will delete itself if I press done, so I'll just leave it as it is. So you can see the markings of it, right? You can follow it all the way up at Wild Horse Pass and down, and coming up this way past that Agave or sagebrush up to this rock formation, which is about 5.44, 5.45 miles, okay? Okay, so it remains in place, that marker. That's good. So in terms of the distance of it from where Kenny Veach roughly parked down here, coming all the way up here, which he may have done, and then heading north, was this his campsite down here? I mean, does his camp, if it is his campsite, if it is his tent on that condition, because it looks like as if one was heading north onwards from here, was this his resting spot? You know, take in mind, Kenny Veach said, and he even said it to his nephew, Hunter Veach, and I did share with you the text, receipts and conversation in a previous video of mine. Be sure to check it out, where Kenny Veach said if he doesn't find the cave, he's going to head north about 45 miles. Now, was this the starting point of it? Maybe. Right. If you think about it, if he did his normal hike route, he went over Wild Horse Pass here and then proceeded to go on down this way as if he was heading towards Pitcher Canyon and the supposed M Cave hotspot. He could have come so far down to the area here to have a look about again, thinking, I'm sure it was somewhere around here, but then realising no, or getting confused, let's just say, double trekking up to this crossroad, if you want to call it that, near to this sagebrush, and instead deciding to go north because it is possible. Scott Natal came down from up that way, heading up that way, and in the meantime stopping by here to maybe camp out, to regroup himself. Just a suggestion, okay? Let me know your thoughts. In terms of the distance from the campsite to the M Cave hotspot, we'll do that right now. Let's just wait for that white marker to move. Is it under a mile? Somewhere like there. It's about 0.37 miles. Okay? That's the distance it is from the supposed covered up M Cave hotspot, Keyhole Cave, and then the tent and sword, which was up this way north. So it's all within close proximity to one another. You got a hiker supposedly going out there, supposedly going missing, and some items were found out there. On the way to, if you was to go up this way, you know, the phone and the loose change at the mine shaft, and then further north over Wild Horse Pass, and then going in and out from there up to here, you got a tent and sword. Now, unfortunately, search and rescue never went to this spot as we see on the maps, which is very unfortunate. All search and rescue did, let me just close that down for a second. All search and rescue did was go up to the mine shaft. Okay? Mine shaft here. That's all they did. Sent a camera in, they didn't even go into the mine shaft themselves, and came to the conclusion, right, so Kenny's phone, change found here, Kenny's scent has been lost past this point, maybe because time's run out, because he was reported 8 days later, so that could have been a factor there. Well, yeah, it would be, because I'm thinking of like the Dylan Brown's case, how that went. Dylan Brown's was reported missing quicker there than Kenny Veach was. But yeah, you get the idea. So search and rescue come up to this point, but they don't go further north, up and over the mountains down to here. If they did, they may have found the tent and sword before Scott Natal did back in 2021. Wouldn't that have put that into greater perspective, right? Just imagine if search and rescue actually did what Scott Natal did way back at the start, and the tent and sword was found there at that point. Earlier on, it could have been reinforced more, and the condition of it, and if anything else was left laying about, right? I mean, there could be theories. If, first of all, you believe that it is Kenny Veach's campsite and tent, and then second of all, how did one thing lead to another? Did Kenny Veach get attacked? Animal attack? Is that why the tent's torn to shreds and pieces? And you could be like, well, If that happened to Kenny Veach, then why wasn't his body found or remains found? Well, if search and rescue only went up to the coordinates on screen, the mine shaft, and maybe a little bit further afar, but without going to the spot of the tent, they would have never have known nor found it, right? So if they were never in that key area, then naturally, with time, Kenny's remains could have been scattered about with the wildlife, the animals, especially if left open and exposed. So Kenny's supposedly camping out there overnight and gets attacked by a mountain lion and then succumbs to nature, the wildlife, eating away, decomposition, taking the bones away and spreading them further afar. Maybe that's also why no one's found him ever since. Just a suggestion, piecing one thing to another possibility, right? As said, I just wanted to give you the location here so you're more familiar with it, and it puts it into perspective how close it is to the hike Kenny Veach did when looking for the M Cave. So yeah, it can be quite surprising at times how deep you can go when it comes to these maps, Google Earth, how you can tell the story, just by looking at it visually speaking. Hopefully the imagery was reasonable, clear enough for you to see. I assume it's been updated with time because when looking back at a certain area near Black Hills, I think it's called, or Black Hill Gap, there was originally some military drone caught on camera, but it's no longer there, and that's probably because it's updated. So at the time of when we last looked at it, I think it was 2019 satellite imagery. I guess what we're looking at now is either 2022 or 2023, as by the colour of it. In some areas, it may look patchy, maybe not in this video, but other times because it's been stitched together, Google Earth satellite imagery. Some old, some new, put together side by side, stands out night and day difference. Because taking different times of the years, different seasons, it could look very dry, dusty looking, but then other times it could be very lush, green, vegetation grown, just different times put together. Saw it most noticeably in the Dylan Rounds case. But that aside, hopefully this video may have answered some people's questions as for locations of key places. And as said, we can always look back at the area of where Kenny Veach got scared. He appeared to change in behaviour. That may be the next video, so be on the lookout for it. Feel free to like and share the video, that'll be appreciated. And feel free to leave some comments down below if you want any questions answering, etc. Try and spread awareness on this case to keep it alive and these findings and comparisons, right? Because who knows what it could lead to. You never know what would happen next, right? So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye. Good night for now.